Okay, so I'm going to be doing our code walkthrough for iSchedule. So in the first block of code, you'll see we import a few different modules. So we import date time, which allows us to manipulate time and dates. Then we'll import itertools, ipywidgets, and IPython core display. Itertools allows us just to import iterator building blocks, and then ipywidgets and IPython core are both display modules. From there, we're going to define a number of functions as well as classes, as well as create a few different classes. So the first function we define is convert time. So it's just a simple function to allow us to manipulate some of the times that we'll bring in. The next is we'll define the courses and set variables to each one, and we do that through classes. So we made a class for each course that has parameters and variables defining that course. We'll do the same for that course if it has a lab, and then from there we'll check if we'll run a number of functions. The first being checking if there's overlap for the courses given their dates and times. The next is we'll check if that course is already in the schedule, so that's through the check repeat function. The next function we have is for check if the class is before the user's earliest time. And then the next one will be to check if the class is after the user's latest time. The next function we have defined is to check if that class runs on a Friday based on whether or not the user selected that they wanted Friday classes. The next function will be to check if the duration is above the user's max duration that they inputted. And then the following function is to check if that class has a lab, and if the lab follows the overlap parameters. After that, we have a function for running all of the checks that I mentioned previously, and it'll return true if it passes all of the checks. Following that, we have a function to print all of the print your schedule, and that will just return your ideal schedule given plus the weeks and days. Then here you'll see a block for all stylistic stuff based on the modules we imported, including IPython core and ipywidgets. Following that, we have the courses that we'll be selecting from, as well as the labs. From there, we have a function to create schedule given the parameters set by the user. And then here is another display, and then display for given the modules imported, and then we'll print the schedule, the optimal schedule for the user. So here's an example one where we added IST 345, marketing 444, and accounting 252.